This is your notes on writing two-step equations. We've been solving equations for a couple of days. Now we need to know how to take a word problem and change it into equations and then solve the equation after that. So, if we're going to write equations, first thing we need to go over, okay? We did this in chapter 1. We need to go over the key words to tell us what operation to use. Right? For each problem that you have, you're going to have one or two keywords that are going to tell you that means you're going to have to add, subtract, multiply, or divide. So we need to remember those list of words. So back in chapter 1, we had taken some notes on keywords for each operation. We're going to relist those words in case you forgot. So I want you to start thinking of some words that when you see them in a word problem, that tells you you're going to have to add. Okay? And hopefully these are some of the ones you guys came up with. Any form of the word add. Add, adding, addition, added to, anything like that. Plus, more than, increase by, total, and sum. All those tell you that you're going to be adding when you see them in a word problem. Okay? Take a second, try to remember some of the ones that we did for subtracting. Alright, can you think of the ones that we used? Obviously, some of them are easy. Here you go. We've got minus, difference, decrease by, fewer than, less than, and subtract. Okay? How about multiplying? Again, some of these should be easy. There's one, hopefully you remembered, times, product, multiply, all those pretty easy, straightforward. Don't forget of when you're multiplying. The word of. The word of tells you to multiply. If you're doing fractions or percents, decimals, that tells you you're going to multiply. And then you got keywords for dividing. Okay? Again, only a couple here. Divide, quotient, and per are the words that tell you you're going to be dividing. So make sure you have all those written down. You're going to use them. You're going to have to go back when you're doing these questions and you're doing your homework. We're going to have a quiz on this. When you're getting studying for the quiz, you need to go over these lists of words. There's not that many for each one. Make sure you know what operations they tell you to do. Make the problems a lot easier. Okay, now you can take out your 3.4 notes. We'll go over these together. Okay? Okay, example 1. Taking a word problem, writing two-step equation. First example. We have sightseeing. Your family paid $180 to rent a plane to tour the Grand Canyon. The tour company charges $35 per hour plus fuel fee of $75. How many hours does your family rent the plane? So, we got to write an equation. The total cost for renting it is going to be how much it costs per hour times however many hours you have it for, and then you have to add on that fuel fee at the end. No matter how long you go up, you got to spend that 75 bucks. Okay? So that's how you get your total cost. So they told us in the problem, total cost was $180. So that's what we're going to fill in for total cost. The cost per hour was 35, and we're multiplying by the number of hours, which we don't know. They call the H, 35 times H, 35H. Plus the fuel fee, which was 75 bucks. Okay, so this is our equation. So we got to solve this for H. So, two-step equation, get rid of adding and subtracting first. So we're going to subtract 75 from both sides. They write this out a little bit different than we do. I showed you writing it out up and down an equation. They write it across. I think the up and down is a little easier to see, but since they have it set up as a cross, we'll go ahead and do that. So on the left side, 180 minus 75 leaves us with 105. Then on the right side, we did subtract 75 from each side. On the right side, 75 minus 75 is nothing. So those are gone. So now it's just a one-step multiplication. So now we're going to divide. Notice, like I showed you, do it like a fraction. So we got to do 105 divided by 35. Divided each side by 35. So on the right side, 35 over 35 is 1. So that's gone. We just got h. 105 divided by 35. Anybody? 3. Okay? So that means that you rented the plane for 3 hours. Alright. Always got to check these. Okay? So we're going to plug our answer in. Substitute for 3 and for h. Multiply first. 3 times 35. Let's go off to the side and do that. Make sure we didn't make a mistake. 5 by 3, 15. We get 10, 105. Okay? 105 plus 75. That is 180. So life is good. Okay. So let's go to the next page. And same problem here. Basically, give you a chance to do this one. You pay $224 to rent a boat. The marina charges $26 per hour plus $42 for fuel. How many hours would you rent the boat? This is basically the exact same questions you had before, but now it's a boat instead of a plane. So I'll give you a minute. Go ahead and try that. Write the equation just like you did on page 1. Go back and look at page 1. Write the equation down. Go ahead and solve it. Make sure you do your check. Alright, so again, it's just like the first page. You did $224 to rent it. It was 26 per hour, so that gets multiplied the number of hours which we're trying to find, and you always have to pay that $42 for the fuel. Okay, so now we got a two-step equation. Get rid of adding or subtracting first. So we're going to subtract 42 on each side. I'll move up over here. 224 minus 42 is 182. And then the 42s are going on the right, so we have 26h. Multiplying, so we need to divide. 26's are gone. And we have h equals, how many times 26? Going to 182. That's like 7 times. I'll put the check over in the margin over here. Okay, so the check we got 180, 26 times 7 plus 42. Alright, 26 by 7. That's 42. 14 and 4 is 18. And we gotta add 42 onto that. I got 4, 12, 2. 224 is what I wanted, so life is good. So your family rented a boat for 7 hours. The tour to Chesapeake Bay. Alright. Now, I'm not as worried about those ones we just did where it has a long word problem. Example 2 here is the more like the questions we're going to see. Okay? So I really want to take our time on this. The difference of 5 times a number and negative 12 is 2. What is the number? Alright. This is where we're going to need our keywords. Alright? Difference tells us we are going to subtract. 5 times a number obviously means we're going to multiply. Wherever you see the word a number, that's your variable. So I'll call that n. Now this is important. And is a key word in all of these problems. The word and tells you where these operations are going. When you have words like difference, sum, product, quotient, the word and tells you where the operation goes. So this subtraction is actually going over here. So if I'm going to take this out and write it as a two-step equation, I have 5 times n. So got it right down here. 5 times n. And is for the subtraction. Subtract -12. There it is. Is always is where your equal sign goes. So equals 2. So that's all it is. 5 times n, 5n. And is where we're putting that operation, subtraction. That's the most important thing to remember, that and. Okay? Now, they did change this because it was minus and negative. Remember the rule, add a line, change the sign. So that's the same as 5n plus 12 equals 2. Now I got my two-step equation. I've got adding, so I'm going to subtract the 12 on both sides. Okay, so left side, 12s are gone, I get 5n. 2 minus 12, they show you down below, that is -10. Now it's just a one step. I'm multiplying, so I'm going to divide, show like a fraction, they've got it set up for you. 5s are gone, leaves me with n, -10, divided by 5, -2, divided by 5 on both sides. They don't have a check here, so let's go off to the side here and do the check. You always got to do the check. Okay? So, I'm up with -2. So we're going to do 5 times -2 plus 12. Alright, 5 by -2. Positive negative going to be a negative. -10 plus 12 is +2. Life is good. Alright, couple examples. We're going to do the first one together. I'm going to give you a minute to do number 3. Alright, so let's go through this step by step. Sum. That means add. Okay? A number. Putting down my variable. Divided by -3. And this is where that sum is going. That's where the addition is equal to 15. Okay. So now basically I've got my equation. I'm going to write it the right way though. For n divided by 3, I write n over -3 plus 7 equals 15. Look, all I did, I just went through, wrote down what each word in the problem stood for mathematically. Replaced it, put it in the right spot, then write it down the correct way for algebra. And then you can go ahead and solve this. I'm going to write it over in the side here so I got more room. Get rid of adding first by subtracting. Okay, leaves me with n over -3. 7s are gone. 15 minus 7 is 8. And I'm going to multiply by -3. Run out of space here. Remember, show multiplying, you got to put it in parentheses. 3's cancel out, they're 1, so I get n equals 8 times -3 is -24. Okay? And then I got to check that. I'm kind of out of room here. So I'll go up here. -24 divided by -3 plus 7. 2 negatives when I divide give me a positive. 8 plus 7 is 15. Life is good. Okay. So do number 3 here. Again, go through this. write down what each of the words means, and then write it as an equation. Alright, let's see if we got it written right. Difference tells us what? That means subtract. 4 times a number, that's my variable, and that's where my subtraction is going. 9 means equals 23. Now I write it out the way that I show division, that I show it with algebra. I don't write 4 times n, I just put them next to together. 4n minus 9 equals 23. Go ahead and solve this. Show all your work. Maybe Mr. Scapoletti can do this on a board because I'm out of room on here. And if you do all the work and you check it, you should get, I can go ahead and pause this if we need to, but you should get n equals 8. And if you check that, that should come out right.
Would Alexander Evans please report to the high school office?
Okay, last page of your note packet here. This is kind of like the first problem. One day at a fair, sold bracelets. You made $79, cost $17 for the booth. You sold the bracelets for $3 each. How many did you sell? So your profit, the amount that you made, is the price per bracelet times the number of bracelets. That'll give you the total amount that you made by selling them. Take away the cost of the booth, and then you got your profit, what's left over. So they told us that you made $79, so that's your profit. Plug that in. We know you charge 3 per bracelet. We don't know how many bracelets you sell. That's what we're trying to find. Show multiplication by writing them next to each other. And the booth costs $17. We know that. So minus the 17. Again, two-step equation. Opposite on both sides. So we got subtracting. We're going to add 17 to both sides. On the right side, 17s cancel out. Negative 17 plus 17 is 0. So you just have a 3b. On the left side, 79 plus 17 should be 96. Now we got multiplying, so that means we're going to divide, write them like a fraction, divide both sides by 3, and 96 divided by 3 should give you 32, which would mean you sold 32 bracelets, but not done. Even though they don't have it on here, we're still going to check, because we always check. 3 times 32 minus 17. 3 by 32 is 96. Minus 17. And that should give me 79. That's what I wanted, so life is good. Okay? Alright. Now, you can go to the back of your packet, or pull out a separate sheet of paper, and you got to copy these problems now. Okay? So, Mr. Scapoletti can pause the video here. You're going to copy these down. Don't worry about solving the equations right now. At this point, I think we hopefully are pretty good at solving the equations. All I want you to worry about right now is writing these out, coming up with the correct equation. Pull out your list, go look at your list you made up at the beginning of these notes. All your keywords, look at that. Remember how we did it on there? I'll do number 1 again, maybe it's an easy one. Sum means adding. We don't know where it's going yet. We gotta look for our keyword. Unnumbered, put any letter we want. Times 5. Here's our and, so that's where this addition is going. 22 is means equals 52. Okay? So now we're going to rewrite this. We don't write nx5, we write 5n. Show 5 times n. Plus 22 equals 52. And again, I'm not worried about you solving them right now. I'm assuming we can solve them. You will need to solve them on your homework. I just want to make sure you're getting the right equation written down. You're going to have a quiz. The quiz is going to have problems exactly like these ones that you see on here. This type of question is what you're going to have on your quiz. So make sure, take your time right now, do them. Mr. Scapelli, you can pause this. When you're done, you can unpause this, and I'm going to drag this pink box over here, and you're going to have all the answers written down on here, and you can check and make sure that your answers are right. But Mr. Scapelli is going to pause it, and then you work on it until everybody's done with all of it. Then when he's done, go ahead and unpause it, and I'm going to move this in about 5 seconds. There are your answers. So hopefully you got these right. Doesn't matter what letter you use. I just use an X in all these, but it doesn't matter. You can use any letter you want. So there's your answers. Check them over. If you got questions, ask. Mr. Capoletti can help you. And then hopefully you'll be ready for the quiz.